I think if you could find a more fundamental topic to what we do and what we're on about at Wize Mentoring, the theme today is buying back your time, how to stop working in your practice. I'd love to just dive in and get into it. Just a reminder, we've got recruit, design, scale, the three different areas of the journey in Wize. And today is really about design. It's all about design, as we'll jump into. So without further ado, let's jump into the Wize withdrawal journey with Ed. Ed, I've thought about this a lot over the years. Probably the biggest differentiator between yourself and other accountants is really that you did this withdrawal journey. And this was a key component to how you ran your business. And similarly with Jamie, which we'll come to in a moment. I'd love it if you could explain briefly, if you can, it's a long process, but if you can explain the methodical process a firm owner should focus on for removing themselves from the day-to-day of their practice.
Sure, Tim. Yeah, so I guess for me, it started with, you've got to start with your thinking. If you think the right way, then the decisions and the actions that you take will shape your destination, where you end up. But if you think the wrong way, then you'll end up in the wrong place. And, as you know, life is short, and if don't waste time working in the wrong areas. So you've got to start with your thinking. And I think most people, like myself, who first started, think of themselves as a practitioner, as someone who wants to run their own business and, do the work. And as a practitioner, you think in a particular way. And so you've got to change your thinking from a practitioner to a business owner. And what I mean by that is that, and I'll drill down into, and I know there are some client managers here and not just owners. So predominantly there are owners here, but there are some client managers and staff here as well. So I'll then talk about how that applies to you in your position as a client manager. But as the owner, changing from how you think as a practitioner to thinking as a business person is absolutely paramount. If you don't change the way you're thinking, then you're going to have a practice. As you know, as a practice, you do everything. You answer the phones, you do the filing. It doesn't matter what it is, you just get in there and you do it. But as a business person, you can't do that because you've got to make profits. And it's not a lifestyle, it's a business. It's got to make profits. So in order to make profits, you've got to drive the costs down, and especially the cost of goods sold. In your P&L, in your profit and loss statement, the highest cost to your business is your staff wages. And in our business, it's what I call our cost of goods sold. So some businesses buy and sell products. They might buy, calculators, and they buy it at a certain price and they put their margin on and they sell it at a particular price. Well, our inventory, if you like, is our staff. And managing our cost of goods sold is extremely difficult because unlike buying a calculator where you've got a fixed price, other than the currency exchanges, if you're importing it from overseas, you know what your costs are. But with running an accountancy business, your cost of goods sold can go up and down. And what I mean by that is just depends on how your staff are feeling. One day they're very productive and the next day they're not so productive. So one day, the cost of your product is costing you X, and the next day it might not cost you, Y, because of how productive your inventory is, if you like. And then you've got to see yourself as the coach and not the player. I'll use a sporting analogy. I'll use soccer because that's common across the world. You're the coach of a soccer team. You're now the coach of a business, where instead of you playing the game yourself, being a player, or in accounting terms, instead of going to work to prepare a tax return, you build a business that prepares the tax return. So a business is made up of people and systems, procedures and policies and so forth. And in a footy team, and you're the coach of that footy team, you've got different people that play in different positions. Or you're the conductor in an orchestra, and you've got all your people playing different instruments. And you don't jump in there and play an instrument, because who's conducting? Or you don't, as a coach of a footy team, you don't jump in there and play a position, then who's coaching? So for a practitioner, if you want to do it right, you just got to do it yourself. And by the time you train someone, you could have just done it yourself. But if you look at yourself as a coach of a footy team, you can't take a player off and go on yourself and play the position. Or if you're a conductor of an orchestra, if someone's not playing the guitar properly, you don't throw them off and go and play the guitar yourself. You're the conductor, you're up the front conducting the orchestra. And as a business person, you're now no longer playing the instrument, you're no longer preparing the tax return, you're building this business that prepares the tax return. And as I said earlier, it's made up of people in the right seat and on the right bus, playing people to their strengths in positions. Like a soccer team, you've got all different positions in the soccer team. You can't just play them all over the place. You've got to select the right person to play goalie. You've got to select the right person to play the wing, and so forth. And in your accounting business, it's exactly the same. So you've got to find the right people for those positions. Now, when you're very small, you've got a foot in all of those positions. You're doing everything. And in the withdrawal journey, you've got to then withdraw from those positions over time. And for those of you who've come to our sessions in the past, you'll know that I talked about an organization chart, which is made out of 7 divisions. And division 1 is your strategy, where your board of directors sit. And they determine all the direction, strategy, how the business, the journey of the business. And you might want to invite some people from your team to sit in that division, and you meet once a month. You go through the numbers and you discuss strategies, you discuss direction and so forth. And then you've got division 2, which is your marketing, and division 3, your sales, division 4, your production, division 5, your quality, division 6 is your admin, and division 7 is your accounts, accounts receivable, accounts payable, reports. That's all in division 7. And your journey is to withdraw from those divisions one at a time. And as you get bigger and you can afford it, you start withdrawing. Well, the ones that you withdraw from are the ones that you can pass the task to somebody else at a lower cost. And as a business person, you've got to think of your business in terms of resources and how much the resource is going to cost you. And the highest cost resource to your business, not your practice, to your business, is the partner, is the owner. They're the highest cost resource. So if you're the owner and you're picking up the phone and answering the phone, or you're filing, or you're doing production work, well, it's costing your business a huge amount of money. And you want to be able to push the lowest cost task down to the next person, so it's not costing your business an enormous amount of money. And the first department or division that you pull yourself away from is your administration division. So just get someone to do the admin, and that's division 6. If you're finding you're running out of time, that's the first one you should find an employee for. The second one is production. So find someone to do, the production, the preparing the tax returns and the financials and so forth. And then the next one is your accounts, financial accounts and reports for your organization, for your own business, and get someone to do that. And then the next one is quality, which is division 5. And then sales, which is division 3. And then finally, you should be just sitting on the board in division 1, which is where I'm sitting at the moment. But from a client manager's role, it's exactly the same from there, but a lot more, within your own team, is to push the work down to the lowest cost person, because your division in your team is about making as much profit as you can in that division. And making profit is about increasing your turnover. So as a client manager, your role is to get more new clients in. In order to get more new clients in, you can't be at your desk doing work, right? The best way to get more referrals is to get in front of your clients. talk to them about the results, get your team to do the work at a lower cost. Then you go and see the clients. And that's the highest value work, is the consultancy with your clients, the face-to-face, because that will generate more referrals from your clients. So it is a journey, and you've got to think the right way, because the way you think will shape the kind of decisions you make. And the decisions you make will shape the actions you take, and the actions will lead you to the outcomes. So, yeah, so it starts with your thinking.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.